back to my channel, everyone. Firstly, I want to start by saying I am sorry that this video is coming out a little late. I had a very severe reaction to the allergy testing, so I wasn't able to record and put out what I would want to. So hopefully you can forgive me. I know that it's really important to be consistent with me being a new channel, so from here on out, I'm definitely putting myself accountable and making sure I get those out. Let's move on with just talking about my experiences with my allergies. So firstly, I'm going to put up a video in here. It's one of the reactions that I had to my allergies that were really bad. So let's play the video. One sucky thing about not being able to take allergy medicine is the constant congestion that I feel right here, all through here, right here. It's all building up and giving me freaking a really bad headache. So I was going to start some schoolwork. Unfortunately, that's not happening right now. And instead of spending time with my family, I'm now laying in bed and going to try to take a nap and see if that helps. Wish me luck. So from that video, you can see I was in a lot of pain. I had a headache. I was very sore throat, congested. It was really hard for me to breathe, which was a lot, and ate in bed most of the day. It was not enjoyable. Now that I am on allergy medicine, I'm kind of seeing some of the results that I didn't notice that I was having. So for the 10 days that I did not take any allergy medicine, I say hindsight is 2020. I realized kind of some of the things that I've been going through. So firstly, before I go into that, I just want to show you what my results for my allergy test was. So here is a video of what my arm looked like when I was near the end of my testing. So as you can see, I had severe reaction. My arm was really red. It was very itching. I did have some hives, swelling type area that happened to me. And that's just my reaction based on different things that they tested on me. Now they tested trees, grass, weeds, mold, cats, dogs, mouse, and feather. From all those tests, I had very severe reactions to couple trees. I had a big reaction to grass. I am really allergic to several molds that are found in the Northwest. I also had a big reaction to cats. I'm allergic to dogs, not as so much as I am to cats. And you can see that by the swelling on my arms. Some of my reactions, you don't see all of them because it was on my left arm. I didn't really take a video of that just because they didn't test as many things on there. On top of, because of my tattoo, you couldn't really see the gist of how bad it was. Now, when I look at my arms today, it's been a full 24 hours. My right arm is a lot better. I don't have any more swelling. It's not really red. There's a few spots that are a little red. When touching it, it's a little bit tender. And I do have a bit of rash on a couple of the sites that they poked me at. On my left arm, there's actually several spots that are still red. And what I think that is that when I got home, I had my husband get me some allergy cream. And I put it on my right arm just because it was very itchy still. One of the biggest things they told me is no itching, no rubbing. It just makes it worse. What can happen is that your reaction will prolong, or it's kind of just mixing everything together and having a bigger reaction. So I didn't want to do that. My left arm wasn't really bothering me. I can see one of the sites where I got tested for the cat is still really red, and it has a slight bump on there, which they did say that it can be 24 to 40 hours before everything would go away, and I'm still seeing that 24 hours. So we'll see how I am tomorrow. I can definitely tell I'm still having a bit of reaction to taking that test. My throat is sore. Still, my voice is getting a lot better. It's not as congested as it was, but I can feel some congestion in my nose area especially. Now, when it comes to my allergies, it's mostly seasonal. A lot of the misconception with people saying seasonal allergies, they believe, oh, okay, so it's just the springtime. Well, that's going to be depending on your allergies. For myself, I'm allergic to grass, so yes, grass is not that big of a deal in the winter, but if I just go strolling in it, if I roll around in it, I'm going to have an adverse reaction to it. It's the same thing with trees and pollen. There's not much in the winter time, so of course you're not going to see that much of a reaction from me going outside, but it's still possible. One of the biggest things that I'm allergic to, that no matter where I am, year-round, I'm going to have issues, is dust, including dust mites. For me, it's really important to make sure I'm cleaning my sheets and hot water, and very often or not, if I don't, I'll have severe reactions where I'm sneezing, breaking out in rashes. It's just, I'm miserable. And when doing this trial for me, I noticed that. So when I was going through this, I was having reactions that I didn't realize was an effect from not taking allergy medicine. So for instance, I would get slight rashes, nothing too big, I'd be a little itchy, and for myself, I thought it was because of my hair. Now, I am a Black woman, I wear braids, and if you never wore fake hair before with braids, what happens is that the longer you wear the hair, you get like little hairs that kind of stick out. You can kind of see that right there, which will poke you, and just like anything else, it's uncomfortable. Not so much where I'm gonna break out in a rash, but I might itch here and there. And I was like, okay, maybe that's the situation. Including, I don't wash my hair every day, even if my hair wasn't in braids, but with it being in braids, I can't wash my hair. So what I do is I take some witch hazel with the cotton swab and to clean my scalp, and that will reduce any type of buildup, any dry scalp, anything like that, so that I don't have any type of flaking. And it's supposed to help ease with any itching that might come along with just having buildup. So my scalp was extremely itchy, which is strange for me because yes, of course I'm gonna have a itch here and there, but not so much that I'm like just scratching my hair all the time. And that's exactly what was happening, to the point where I was like, okay, maybe I need to take these braids out. Maybe it's my braids. I've never had this experience before, but maybe that's what it is, because I went to somebody new. They might have used different products that I haven't used before, and I'm having an adverse reaction to those products. Now that I'm back on allergy medicine, it was not that. What it was the fact that I'm not taking medication. I was having an extreme reaction to, I'm guessing, just dust, to the point where I'm like constantly itching my head and I'm super uncomfortable. And let's not forget, like, COVID is still happening now, so I'm having to wear a mask, and at my job I also have to wear goggles. So I'm having issues with breathing all the time. I was sneezing, I would say about sneeze 10 times a day when I first woke up, just getting dressed, just taking my shower, putting my clothes on, getting my lunch together. I'd be sneezing constantly. So by the time I got to work, I would be so congested. It was just an issue having to wear a mask all the time. When I walked into work, I had my mask on. I only went up a flight of stairs just to get to my building and then into my work area. And from that, I would be outwinded. And I was getting concerned because I was like, you know, heavy breathing like this, that's a sign of COVID. And am I having COVID on top of I'm lethargic? So I was trying to sleep all the time and it wasn't helping. I was like, okay, so is it possible that maybe I have COVID and I just don't have anything else? No, I'm also not taking my allergy medicine, so maybe I'm just tired. And that's what it ended up happened to be, is that with me not taking my allergy medicine, I think my body was continually trying to fight all the allergens. So I'm just going and not having any time to rest. And when I did actually sleep, I was having bad sleeping. Like, it was just so uncomfortable because I had a hard time breathing. I wasn't comfortable. I kept moving around a lot. And when I look at kind of my sleep patterns, I was sleeping earlier, I was sleeping longer, but my quality of sleep was horrible. So that also plays into it. What I'm learning now is that my allergies are by far worse than I have ever expected. When I first got allergy tested, I was 12 years old, and I remember having reactions. I remember being uncomfortable, but nothing even compares to how comfortable I am now. Just breathing on an everyday basis is hard for me. And the whole point of me doing all this was trying to figure out, what is my problem? I'm taking 2 allergy medicines a day, and it's taking the edge off, but I'm not getting any relief. When I say I'm taking the edge off, that means for me, it's like being in 115 degree dry heat and driving around to get some type of breeze to take off from the heat. Now, if you ever driven in that type of weather, especially if it's dry, when you put down the windows, it's almost like a heating blanket wrapping around you. And although the speeds that you're going at, if you're driving on the freeway, the speeds that you're going out, it's less hot in the car. It's still extremely hot, and that's kind of what it is for me and my allergies. So yes, me taking my allergies, it reduces my sneezing. I don't sneeze as much, but I'm still constantly, my nose is itchy, and I'm congested, and that congestion varies. So some congestion can be just a little bit of congestion in my throat and my nose, but I can still continue my day. Sometimes it gets so bad that I can feel it in my ears, and I do this clicking thing in the back of my throat. My husband thinks it's hilarious, and it kind of relieves the itching in the back of my throat. But it also can be hard to hear. So during the times where I wasn't taking my allergy medicine and I'm going to work, and I work in an OB/GYN office, and I'm still checking in people, but I'm on the phone. So I did notice that sometimes when I was taking those calls, it was extremely hard for me to hear them, where I'm asking them to repeat over and over and over again, just simple things, which doesn't feel good. It doesn't make you feel like you're doing your job good. So the next step for me is that I am going to be taking allergy shots. It does make me realize how bad this is, and I did talk to my allergenist. I'm a good candidate for allergy shots because the drugs aren't working anymore, and this is a more holistic way to do this. It's I'm not putting drugs in my body. All it is them taking my allergens and injecting me with it so I can build up more of a tolerance for myself. So, if I would, in the future, if let's say I wanted to get pregnant or have a baby, or just being more cautious of what you're putting in your body, I don't have to put those synthetic drugs in there. I'm working with nature to make my life better. Now, to close out with this experience for me, I do have my allergy results, and this is what they gave me. Keep in mind, not all allergy tests are the same. There's various different ones. It just depends on who you go to, where you are, who you see. So for me, this is my results. So I have 2 pages here. They're very full. This one almost goes up to, and the way that it works is their results are based on a flare and a wheal. Now the flare is like redness. A wheal is kind of like a like swollen or hives area of where they injected you. And my most severe were, like I said, grass, some trees. Dust is a very high one for me. Cats, I'm extremely allergic to cats. One thing that they were really surprised on is how many molds that I'm allergic to, especially since I lived here my whole life in the Northwest. I was born and raised, and I'm allergic to a lot of those things here, unfortunately. On top of that, one thing that I do want to say is that testing itself, I don't know how much that's going to be, but for me taking shots, it's extremely expensive. Now, if I was going to pay it out of my pocket, they gave me a summary here, and it was a little bit over $1,500 for the shots that I'm going to be taking. That's not including any office visits that I've done, the initial testing to see what I'm allergic to. That's just the shots, my allergy shots. So keep that in mind. All these people are suffering with just trying to live their life and not be itching or sneezing or coughing, especially in this day and age of COVID. The way that people would look at me anytime I would sneeze or I'd cough, it was extremely uncomfortable. It's already hard enough being in this world and being brown. Add COVID on that and add allergies. It was difficult, and I did my best to try to laugh it off, or I felt it necessary to continue saying I'm sorry, I'm sneezing, it's allergies, I'm not sick, I'm tested all the time. I have to take my temperature. I have to list if there's any new symptoms for me. I had explained to my management that I was doing this for my better life, just so that they realized that, yeah, I'm having these symptoms, has nothing to do with COVID. On top of, I missed a full 2 days of work because of this experience. One of them was the video that you saw just a minute ago. I had super bad migraine. I ended up staying home. Another day was I was in a lot of pain. Not only did I have my allergies, I broke out in hives. I was also having back issues. I did go outside running, and I just think that the combination of the two just kicked my butt. So I was in bed pretty much all day. So hopefully they did say it could take up to about 2 weeks to get the serum ready and go through my insurance, which I thank God that I have insurance. I did meet my deductible, which will help the cost of that. And I knew I wanted to do this as soon as possible because I did meet that deductible and I wanted to get it done as cheap as possible. And I just really want the relief. So moving forward, hopefully I will sound a little better when I make these videos. Now moving right along. One thing that I did experience this week is my husband introduced me to a new YouTube channel called Yes Theory. We watched so many videos. I do recommend you go out there and watch some of those videos. They're an amazing group of people. They're doing amazing things and they're really changing people's lives, and it's very inspiring. One of my favorite videos that I watched was about this young man named Xavier. I think the last name was Ramos. He ended up getting cancer, and by beating all odds and living a lot longer than they ever expected, and some of that they believe is the fight that he had in him. One thing that I realized by watching that video is that it's sad and unfortunate that it takes like either you getting something or somebody in your life getting something to realize how short life really is, and that at any instant it could be gone in a blink of an eye. And I am very fortunate. Like, my mom worked very hard in life. She was a single mother and she had 4 kids. She met my stepdad later on. There's 6 of us. We're very close knit family, and you know, my mom is still a human. I think sometimes we forget that our parents are human and they make their mistakes, but they do the best that they can. And realizing that I'm making my own mistakes now as an adult. So for me, I am kind of more of a strict person just for myself, and I get very comfortable. I do have anxiety, so I think that's what plays into it a lot for me, is that I get really stuck in my ways. And I think a lot of us believe, you know, I'm spontaneous and I can jump into anything. I'm gonna do all these things. And you know, when you're younger, in your early 20s, I do believe a lot of us feel that way. But as you get older, you become more cautious, especially when you have children, because the last thing you want to do is be taken away from your children. And I can account that that's for me for sure. I want to be as healthy as possible. I want to be there for my kids. And in the same aspect, I get more fearful. And within doing all of that, not saying that I was a wild person before, I've never been that way, I'm realizing more and more that I'm just comfortable with life. And not saying that, you know, that's not a place to be, because there's plenty of people in the world that don't have that comfortability. They're struggling to find food, they're struggling to find water, they're struggling to figure out where they're going to lay their head at night. I know that I'm very fortunate in not having to worry about those things. I worked my ass off, and so did my husband, and so did our family, so that we don't have to worry about those things. There's so many things that I could dive into, but right now what I'm trying to focus in on is that for me as a person, I am very fearful, and I don't want to be that way anymore. So what I've decided in myself is that we're going to be doing a new segment from here on out. It's going to be called Debunking My Discomfort. So I'm starting off little, and hopefully one day I will be willing to try bigger things, especially once COVID is done. There's a long list of things that I want to do and I want to experience, and hopefully by starting these little steps, I can get there. So they do have a segment on their channel, Yes Theory does, called Seeking Discomfort, and this is my version of that. So the first thing that I decided to do is something extremely small. It might not seem a lot to you, but for me, it's just a step in the right direction. So I want to say like about 1.5 years ago, me and my husband had a conversation, and I told him that I wanted to start doing something for myself. Now, outside of braids, just like my channel's called, I have curly hair. I wear it curly every now and then, especially in this time of year with the moisture and the humidity. I like to get braids in so I don't have to worry about my hair, but that's not something that I have to do. I wear minimal makeup, so yes, you can kind of see I have some makeup. I don't have a whole bunch because I don't wear it very often, so I don't really see the point of wasting our money on that. I just wanted to find something that made me comfortable, made me feel good about myself, and that was for me getting my nails done. So I started off just doing it every month, and now I'm up to every 2 weeks just because gel only lasts for so long. And when I first started doing it, I did colors that I was very comfortable with. Last summer, 2019, I did some very bright colors, which made me extremely uncomfortable to the point where I just wanted to take it off, even though I just paid for it, just because I've gotten so used to being one way. And I haven't been pushing that envelope recently. So this time, I decided to push the envelope the other way, and I did more of a muted color. So for one thing that I can talk about here is that as a person of color, I've always thought like nude or mauve type colors were more colors for white women. It's very rare that I see a nude color that's a brownish tone. It's kind of more peachy, and it's not, in no means am I peachy, so obviously it didn't work for me. So I did find a color that I would consider for me nude, and I was really nervous. I was scared because I didn't want it to be too much of a pink tone. I am not a pink girl by any means. This is as girly as I get, so this is as close as we're gonna get. I do like it. It did take me a good day to get used to them, and I plan on doing some more colors that I normally wouldn't do, on top of just getting bigger with my choices as well. So hopefully we can see an evolution for me of, like I said, doing something so small as getting a new nail color to something extremely big. Like maybe I'll get over my fear of open water. Moving right along. So one other thing that I do want to talk about is my weight loss journey. Now, let me start off with saying that I am not a person that follows popularity or media, or am pushed by any means by the way that I look, the way that I talk, what music I listen to, like me as a full person. You're never going to tell me that I need to be something different. I mean, you can, but I'm not going to listen to you. As the shirt says, I'm a Scorpio, so you're not going to just come over here and try to tell me what to do. It's just not going to work. But anyways, I'm by no means that type of person. And for me, my weight is completely what it is insinuating. It's mine. It's something that I have to deal with. It's something that I need to find what I'm comfortable in. And no matter how many times people tell me like, oh, you look great, you look amazing, or you should probably lose some weight, it doesn't matter. Like, it's a spectrum. I've heard both. Especially from your doctor, who I know that they're looking at the BMI chart and, you should probably lose a couple of pounds. Yeah, that's not really for people that are shaped like me either, so whatever. But that's neither here nor there. I think that it's important for you to be comfortable in your own skin and comfortable in your own body, and if that means you get to stay the size you are, if you want to lose a few pounds, that's completely up to you. The most important thing is that you are comfortable. So for me, I am not comfortable, and like I said, it has nothing to do with the outside world. It has to do with me, who I am on the inside, and where I see myself and what I want to do. I don't measure myself based on weight. I measure myself based on activities, based on running outside with my kids, based on play wrestling with my husband based on going up those flight of stairs. How am I breathing? That is how I see where I need to be. And based on how comfortable I am in my clothes, of course, because no matter what I do, whatever's in my closet, I want to be comfortable in it. Now, with this whole experience with my allergies, unfortunately, I did gain some weight. I was, like I said before, I was very lethargic. I was sleeping a lot and I couldn't figure out why. And now that I know that, after taking my allergy pill, the day of, it only took about 30 minutes to kick in, and immediately I felt a boost of energy. And that makes me realize that my body having to fight off my allergies without anything helping it takes a lot of energy. I have so much stuff going on top of, I'm now been working at this new job for 90 days, is, not as new, and I am sitting all the time. Checking people in, making appointments, taking phone calls. It's a lot of sitting. Before, I was working at a cable company. I was running around all the time trying to help people. I was always on my feet. And on top of that, when you are working in retail, your hours are later. So I could go to bed at 1 o'clock in the morning, wake up at 9, go for a jog, be at work at noon, and it would be no problem. That's not the case anymore. I have to be at work at 7:45, and I'm a night person. So in order for me to be at work at 7:45 and wake up, I'm having to wake up now at about 5:30 to do the exercise that I want to do. And at first I tried to force myself to wake up at that time, and it wasn't really happening. So I gave up a little bit and just maintained, and then I tried again, and I'm slowly having to work backwards to be used to going to bed early and waking up early. And that has been a big struggle for me. So my biggest thing this week is making sure that I get some type of movement in. I'm just going to be counting my wins, and even though they might be extremely small, a win is a win. So I might definitely starting to wake up at 6:45 every day is going to be the first step, and then waking up at 6:30, and I just keep going down 15-minute intervals until I get to the point where I can wake up at 5:30, 5:45, because I do want to start running again in the morning. And right now, with how late that I'm going to bed, it's not working for me. So just waking up, doing yoga, make sure that my lunches are packed the day before so I'm not eating out so much, making sure that I'm reading. Like, even though that might not be so much as a weight loss, for me it's a win, because reading is important to me. It's part of who I am as a person. So just doing those things that are really important to me, that makes me feel good about myself, because if I'm feeling good about myself, then I'm going to be more willing to, let's go to bed early, let's not eat that crappy food, let's do the things that makes me feel healthy, that makes me feel good, to the point where I'm going to bed early, I'm waking up early, I am full of energy, and being able to do all these things. I think that's extremely important. And I think that for us, individual and as people, and being in the same community, that we need to count our wins together. So what I want you to do now with listening to this, I want you to be able to name one win that you want to have every day this week. Go ahead and put those in the comments. And let's just cheer each other along and find little wins, because all it starts with is one little thing, just one tiny thing that you do every day, and the next thing you know, it's going to be so second nature to you that you're going to be doing it every day, and then you can move on to the next step and the next step and the next step. If you notice, that's kind of one of the themes that I have for myself, is I know that if I do just a gigantic step, I'm not going to do it. I might do it for a day or two, but I'm busy, extremely busy, especially being in school, working full time, being a mom, being a wife. Like, I have things going on all the time, in even trying to do this. And what I realize is time management is extremely important in these type of situations. So if I can do something small, and I continue adding small things and bite size to what I want to do, then it already becomes integrated into every other part of my life. So it's not as hard to maneuver everything, if that makes sense. So let's put those wins in those comments, and let's cheer each other on so that we can all experience our wins for the next week. Now, that's it. That's all I have for you. I just want to say thank you for tuning in, and hopefully next week I can get this done consistently. I do plan on keeping it to Charismatic Saturdays, so I know that I need to show y'all consistency, especially being a new YouTube channel. But I appreciate everybody that's watching this for me. This is extremely uncomfortable but also fun, so hopefully that we can do this together. All right, you guys, bye.